Hello, Trials fans. Today I'm working on a 2003 Scorpa SY250 with the Yamaha engine, and I bought it 7 or 8 years ago. We rode it for a couple of years, and then it's kind of been sitting. And she had some leaking forks and some bad wheel bearings, and the tires were just shot, and so brake pads needed work. So I contacted a wonderful trial shop up in New York, Mike at the trial shop. He took care of me getting some parts, and I've had to do a few things on my own. So we're putting it all together, getting it going. And one of the big issues on this thing was we got the front wheel done, new tire, new wheel bearings, brake pads, some new SKF fork seals, drained the forks, rinsed them out with some fresh fluid, and then refilled them. And Mike gave me the specs on the fork fluid because one side has the spring, which is the left fork carries the spring, and the right fork does all the damping. So this side has a spring, and it has a different fluid level than the damping side. So that may take some, let's see, you'd have to call Mike and get that spec again. And then, so we got the front wheel, fork and all that taken care of. We got some new grips on it. And then my clutch was giving me trouble. And these SYs, Yamaha did, they build a great product, but what had happened was they made this little part so dainty, and I'll point it out to you here. This little, sorry for that light in there. This little round threaded cylinder is welded onto this, this silver plate. And the silver plate goes down to the clutch rod. I'm sorry, let me get a better light in there. You can kind of see that silver plate, and it's got the nut, the adjusting nut with the Allen head on it. And that thing was so weak and flimsy that it developed a minor crack in the weld that holds that threaded sleeve to the flat plate. So I prepared the metal, did a little tack on that original weld that Yamaha did, and then I put a reinforcing plate over the top of it. That is 1/16 steel, so it's 0.062. It's just mild steel, and you can kind of see I welded it at the base right on there, and I folded it over. You can see how it wraps and it caps over the top of the Yamaha piece. And now I had to take the threaded parts out that take your Allen set screw out that goes into your hydraulic cylinder, and then take out the nut and the Allen set screw, and then you can sorry, this little light's making, I think, the video go crazy. But so then I took this 062 1-inch wide mild steel plate and cut a piece, as you see in the top figure, that mimicked the original one. Then I laid it over the top one and folded it, made it fit perfect. And I drilled 2 holes in the top so I could plug weld. And plug welding is this. So I was practicing my heat settings. That top plate is exactly the same material. So you drill a hole and then you chamfer the hole a little bit, and then you can just stick your MIG welder in there, and you want to sand your metal and everything, make sure it's reasonably clean. And then when you plug weld, your welds are very thin and flat, and you can see they're almost flat. And so plug welding works pretty good on something like this because it'll keep everything looking nice and thin in there. So now when I operate the clutch, and it's right below the darn muffler, it clears everything and it's really nice and strong. That Yamaha design was lacking. It was kind of weak. And of course you got to take your mufflers off. Take your off your cylinder head, your head pipe here. And on this Scorpa, you got to take your subframe off. You've got to fold your shock back, move that shock out of the way, take the air box out, the subframe, and the complete exhaust system. So anyway, it's working great. Now we're going back to do rear wheel bearings, rear brake pads, and a fresh tire. But one thing I wanted to come up and show you guys was the wheel bearings. Don't use pressure washers. All it does is just drive water into these things. And every company has fought with these, getting water in bearings from pressure washers and stuff. It's just a bad idea. And another thing that's a bad idea is taking your rim strip and sealing it with silicone all the way around. And this bike had been done that way. And all that does is trap water on the button head of each spoke. And this piece of aluminum came off in here. It's because this bike sat with water down in that rim. Now, we all know aluminum doesn't rust, but it does corrode. And this flake of aluminum is proof that water was trapped, and it just weakened the rim. Now that this is, I don't know, this is probably 15 thousandths thick of aluminum that's gone. But hopefully everything will survive. We scraped that silicone off, and we're just going to use the tire and wheel as it's originally designed, because doing that is just a trap. And we all know in wet climates and washing vehicles and stuff, water gets in, but you've got to give it a way to get out. And especially when it's in there, it can do a lot of damage. So we're getting the old Scorpa fixed up, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, and if you need good parts and service, call Mike at the Trowel Shop up there in Locke, New York, and have a good time. Thanks. Bye-bye.